Welcome to the LXC.
Welcome to the TopHat Lounge. We are here today with a number of people. Welcoming back Taco.
Worse.
Say hi.
I'm the best.
We're welcoming back Storm.
Hello, hello, hello.
We're welcoming T1 Jayce. Tell us about yourself.
I'm basically the goat.
Baby goat, by the way. I'm the real goat. That's okay. We're still working on these.
We're welcoming back WulleyBully from last week.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Yeah. You could be
I
the
love it.
best, but I'm the
And-
goat. So
and we're
Coming to
welcoming,
Arbiter near you.
we're welcoming very, very talented guys. Let her say hello.
Hello. I'm better than everyone else in this call, by the way, so I don't know what they're talking about.
I believe it.
That's
I get to face my demons every day, so I doubt it.
All right, so this week we did see Warden and Arbiter go into playoffs. We saw a reschedule match. We saw an almost tiebreaker get ready to go. It's been a little bit of a crazy week, so it's been lots of fun. And we do know that coming up is going to be the Worlds patch to the game on the 11th, I believe you guys said, right?
Correct.
All right,
I
you guys-
don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know when these patches come out. I just kind of play and the patch comes out and I'm told to by my team members, "Hey, you're supposed to do this now." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
All right. Well, who wants to tell me about the patch? What's coming up? Who's getting changed? Who's getting nerfed? Who's going to be good?
Well, I think the TLDR on the overall, I mean, there's so much in this patch, but ADCs are going to die very fast, and you're probably going to see a lot of AP assassins come back into the meta. But not Aurora. She got
Even in
nerfed.
competitive, you're gonna see AP assassins
Yeah, I think so. If you look
like
at
LeBlanc or
Yeah, probably a lot of Ari. Well, Ari got a buff on her E damage. If you look at all the item changes on the AP items, you're getting a lot more Magic Pen, and the threshold on Storm Surge and Shadow Flame has been brought down. So it's going to be interesting. Not quite as much movement speed, but I think with the champions that have your assassins that have mobility in their kit are just going to be pumped.
yeah. I don't know about like any of the melee assassins, but I think you'll see a lot of burst mages like Syndra in there.
Yeah.
I think you're also going to see a lot of these 80 carries and solo lanes kind of die out between Fleet Footwork getting tapped down to almost irrelevancy, BTs getting gutted, shield bows getting tagged. On top of the turret armor changes is going to stop them from in their winning matchups from really accelerating.
No more lane swaps. Yay.
Thank God. Also, Lysandra getting buffed, Ivern getting brought down a little bit. So a lot of like the safety utilities are getting tagged down. I'm going to be interested to see if Lane Viego comes back with his AD going up.
Yeah, I don't think they tapped Viego properly. I think he's still going to be super strong in the jungle.
He's basically
solo queue, anyways.
I think he's really strong right now anyway. And he's getting
Yeah.
buffed. Like that guy's gonna be first pick every game. I feel like he already kind of is.
They tried to tap his Q damage to bring down his clear speed, but his clear speed's already insane anyways. It's like a 303 or something. Like it's gross. I don't think this really changes anything, especially with the AD increase.
Oh. Well, looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, except for ADCs.
They had a good run.
They're not gonna be happy, is what we understand. Okay. So note we will have that. People will be playing on that the week of the 15th. So watch for that in our playoffs. We will have pretty much, I believe, everybody in playoffs at that point. I think Sentinel will be starting playoffs that week. So we will then move on over to Arbiter and take a look. So if you don't already have it open, pop open that Arbiter Master Doc and hop on over to the playoff bracket. So last week we saw this last week we saw OSG Avalanche and Riftbusters play. OSG Avalanche 3-1 Riftbuster to move on to face Conduit Monarch next week. TD Poro and Conduit Monarch obviously played, in Conduit Monarch did 3-0 TD Poro, and TD Poro is our returning champion. So peace to TD Poro. Right. Tactical Feed and TD Harmony are rescheduled to play on the 10th, and then the winner will play TD Royal on the 12th. TD Royal moved on because Team Siren did forfeit their week 1 playoffs game.
What a
In
mess
the-
this league has been.
It's been a thing, but I love them anyway. So out of the 2 matches that we did have go, what'd you guys think? Was there anything that kind of stood out to you, if you were able to keep an eye on it, or a play or something that really?
I think I called it last week with the OSG Riftbusters match.
Mhm.
Riftbusters bot lane was stronger, but OSG was able to run the other sides of the map and win that series pretty easily. It got a little sketch for a while. Riftbusters honestly should have won more than one game out of that series, but not surprising. And the other result, the Conduit TD Poro, I think that was kind of expected. I think Conduit was clearly one of the top 2 or 3 teams coming in, and Poro kind of eked into playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if I recall correctly, I mean, Poro was 3rd in their sector.
Yeah, that kind of like the bottom 3, 4 on that side, wasn't that all kind of a mess in Sector 1?
It was very in Sector 1. They almost went to a 3-way tie and had to play
Yeah.
a gauntlet, but sadly, Trash Panda did not get what they needed to kick out one of the TD teams.
I think the sentiment around the league too has been that Sector 2 was stronger than Sector 1
Yeah, Sector
throughout.
2, probably, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So I really wasn't surprised at that. And I know you said that TD Poro was the returning champions, but isn't most of that roster actually TD Harmony now? The people that won last split?
Let me take a look.
Or was
at
it Royal?
the rosters.
I think they
no,
swapped.
Vanity Pain, Hoodie, Helium Bamboo. Those are all returning TD Poro, and they're
Oh.
on TD Poro. So
Okay.
let's see. Out of
It was-
Harmony, we had Zill, Crockpot, I Am Atomic, and I believe, and Toxin are the names that stick out from last split.
Yeah. Yeah, so the majority of them moved over to Harmony. They were still a good team, Poro was.
Yeah.
But Conduit was just strong. I knew Conduit was strong. And I think they're now my pick to win it all. I think that's going to be a really good series between them and Avalanche. But I think Conduit's probably the stronger of the 2 teams.
You think Conduit will take it out?
Yeah.
Now between Tactical Feed and TD Harmony.
I honestly expect Harmony to win this, but I think this could be a trap game for them because I think a lot of people underestimate Tactical Feed. While I think individually they don't have the strongest players, these guys have been playing together for a really long time, which is not something you see at this ELO. And I think they play together very well. So I expect this to be closer than probably people in this league think, but I still think Harmony wins.
What about you, Very Talented?
I don't really follow Arbiter, so I
Okay.
don't really have much to say.
Gotta give you the chance. All right, Storm, rolling around back to you.
So I'm just gonna kind of double down. I want to say I predicted Tactical Feed last week.
And I can't admit ever being wrong, so I'm gonna run it back. I will say, I think if Harmony's gonna win this out, Toxin's got to step up and have good games. Teams that have been playing together for a while and have this much history, your best way to take them off is putting them in uncomfortable places. And as a jungler, you are absolutely the person that is responsible to get that done. So I think if Harmony's going to make this out, jungle's got to have a big impact.
Okay. And Wooly confirmed you did on your pick'ems for playoffs, you did say TD Harmony
Yeah,
wins that. So
yeah, and I think you made a really good point there that the jungle is going to have a big impact in this game. We've scrimmed when I was on Siren. We scrimmed tactical feed, and in the games in which we played a normal comp, like that was how we won, was jungle tracking and being ahead on plays.
Okay.
So that just, if anybody watches this, buy pink words.
buy pink words.
Great
Lots of 'em.
investment. It's a great investment. 75 gold. Just one. Don't tilt me and buy two.
All right, and for those of you that keep track of Arbiter, that do kind of at least watch the games on Mondays, do you have anybody you that's still playing that you want to call out as an MVP that you might want to see kind of go all the way? We'll start down with Wooly. You seem to have the most info.
Don't you play in this? No, you don't.
I
Not anymore.
did
Not
at
anymore.
one point in time, but I don't anymore. Correct, and will not in the future.
Correct.
I think it's really hard to say, like, because I think it's going to come down to whoever wins the OSG conduit game, and
Mhm.
on either team, nobody stands out as being like, oh, this is the guy you have to focus, or this is the guy that's carrying the team. Both teams have just good all around rosters. And nobody really stood out like big in their games to me. Because I did watch both series, and
Mhm.
neither of them, like, nobody jumped out as being like, oh my god, this is the guy, like, if we were playing them, this is who I'd want to make sure we neutralize in the game.
Okay. I know a number of the OSG and Conduit Monarch players have managed to make the top 10 in their respective lanes. So it should be a lot of fun. Noticing though that just based off of stats, guys, that the OSG tends to hold higher ranking in the lane rankings with the stats. So I'm hoping to see a good
Yeah, I think
game.
it's criminal that somebody in Arbiter is almost 9 CS a minute.
It's rough. But when I do have to say that watching those games, we've got people who are 11.88 KDA, 10 KDA, like in Arbiter as ADCs. And it's because some of their games, they've just been left to do their thing and get strong and then go and whoop ass all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
don't leave those ADCs alone. They will make you pay for it.
Yeah, and both of these, and it's very weird, like just looking at the stat lines from all these series and going through the games, I
Mhm.
kind of went through and every game had picked out standouts for both of the Arbiter series that have been played. Like game 1, Razors 18-3 on Fizz.
Mhm.
Like
I
at
love
that point,
play Fizz.
I think if they can translate the leads that they had in this series into OSG, I feel like it's going to be actually really competitive, because even in this OSG Riftbusters, they're kind of just coin flipping whose bot lane decides to show up every game. Like
Well,
Zarek
yeah.
sees 14-4 the first game. Sir John then goes 16-0 on Jhin the next game. Xerxes again the next game flips it and goes 23-9 on Varus.
I
I'd say
remember Gwynny
game
picked
4, their matchup, Hunter actually. Don't get me wrong, Kai'Sa's 15-0, and bot lane's been a lot of their talk and a lot of the focus in their series. But Hunter just decides to have an 11-1-16 Ornn game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Ornn's an elo boosting, disgusting champion, but Homeboy decided to step up in the game he needed to step up in and close it out. So
Well, that is the streamed match for next week, so we will be able to actually watch it and see how it goes.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right. Well, we have our predictions for next week. We've talked about the previous weeks. We've talked about some of the players and stats. So we can move on over to Sentinel League. And this week, Sentinel League is going to be taken over by Storm since Riven is not here today. Take it away, Storm.
Hello, everybody. Let's see. This week we had NLE and Conduit playing. RAR and Braum Lives Matter. And did they reschedule something?
Week 8, no, we had a forfeit between Needlessly Large Rods and Dropping Point Hellfire. Dropping Point Hellfire did end up forfeiting. Apparently they had some roster issues and were unable to field 5.
Wasn't Dropping Point supposed to be bringing some better players into that roster
They're trying
too?
it. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I understand. They do have one more week this from, now until just before game time to get people, but well, technically 24 hours before, but you know what I mean. To get some roster changes in, because after next week's game, roster lock goes into effect. So
True.
That was a big series for who makes playoffs, and they end up just dropping a forfeit there. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But our NLE Valkyries and Conduit Prime seems to have went 2-0 towards NLE. Standout players for this. First game, Arcavios, 11-1 on Smolder. That's Homeboy's gaming. Game 2. Sirius Oswald, 11-2 with the Zeri mid. Arceus again, 7-0-7 on the Ziggs instead. The double AP bot lane was a choice. Nice to see people are changing up their drafts, getting a little crazy. And then my boys, the RAR Sentinel team, after a little bit of a roster shuffle, some in-depth coaching of please stop buying defensive boats on your own. They brought back the 2-1 against Braum. They just had to not let me be right with my 2-0. But Shaco had really good games in that series. 17 assists Kazakhs. Homeboy, for the love of God, just press Q a little bit later. And then the 7-1 Volleybear game. I have been thanked gratefully by the rest of that team for getting him to abide and go and play, fill in for him. But Kama was also trying to make a stand in this game as well, with his 8-4 on the Lux in the game 2 that they won, even 5-7 on the Silas in game 3. But sadly, none of these games really affected the top end of Sentinels League for their placements. Obviously, Dropping Point taking their FF kind of almost guarantees them out of playoffs now, sadly. And I think because RAR won, that knocks NLR completely out, right?
It depends on next week, because you guys do still have the 1 week. If I think Needless Large Rod plays Valkyries. Who else is there? Conduit Prime. Conduits versus TD Bless. Conduit has to really fall on their face. If they don't manage to pull any wins against TD Blessed and Needlessly Large Rod somehow manages to 2-0, then they do still have a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's a
Wait,
It's in
chance.
the books. It's in the books.
If you're just looking at the numbers, there is a chance for Needlessly Large Rods. Their hopes are not completely dashed yet, but it is going to be a very hard battle, and they got to do some prayers to like Lady Luck or something that Conduit has a bad week.
Yeah. Conduit's got to have a bad week, and NLE's got to get experimental.
Yeah.
But
right.
we've got faith. I've seen them in the chat.
Have some
There's
belief.
the
Have some belief.
copium that's there.
I do have a
Um,
question for Very Talented, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
I know you guys have been on bye. You had your forfeit game, which forced a bye, and then you've got an actual bye week coming up. But as the seed one, who are you actually hoping to end up in finals with you guys?
I think we would have a really good set of games versus either NLE or Braum Lives Matter. They both are very strong teams. We played Braum Lives Matter week 1, and we were still a new team. Don't know if they were a new team, but we have improved. I don't know if they have improved. It'd be really fun to play against them again. NLE is a strong team overall. Sirius Oswald is a really good mid laner. I'd say that he is probably the best mid laner in the league. For Sentinel, other than me, like I feel like both of us are pretty close together on how good we are at mid lane.
Mm-hmm.
For Roar, I think Roar versus TD, if those two are going to be the what they're playing against each other in play-ins, if the playoff bracket is going to stay the same as it is right now, if Roar keeps Shaco on as their jungler, that might actually be a really hard game for TD. And Roar might actually win against TD. I feel like it'd be a very close game if they keep the roster changes.
So you think that'll be a good scrappy match?
Yeah, I do think so.
I can confirm he will be staying as their jungler for the prioritized future. Gun to his head. I'm not going to confirm I'm holding it, but
Coach says you're playing. Get off the bench.
if I got to play in the one league with him, he's playing in this league.
So I'm hearing violence is coming from Team Rar. That's
They love
Suggestive.
suggestive violence, yeah.
Yeah, suggestive. My ass. My fucking ass.
It is transactional.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so
My ass for a win.
so looking at the playoff tab, if nothing changes in the seeding and this is how we end up, then we'll see NLE Valkyries versus Conduit Prime and TD Bless versus RAR. Now we've already gotten Talented's suggestion on how the TD Bless and RAR game is going to go, but does anybody have any insight on what they think is going to happen with the NLE Valkyries versus Conduit Prime?
I think NLE is gonna win. I'm sorry. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I think it's just gonna be 2-1. I think Conduit Prime will knock one game off, but I think after that one game that they knock off, it's just gonna be NLE just going back to their original form and just pretty much winning as a team. There isn't like really a one player that really sticks out to me because they all mesh very well as a team.
Okay.
I would
you're saying
agree.
That should also be a good fight.
I think NLE will take it. I mean, they just played against Conduit Prime now. They 2-0'd them. The games didn't look that close. Mid lane and bot lane were far ahead than their opponent. Game 1, Smolder went 11-1-10, had like almost 9 CS per minute. They allowed the game to get far enough for Smolder to have 300 CS. She don't want. The next game, 11-8 Zeri with 707 Ziggs. Like, they have to find a way to knock down their carries if they want to have a chance against NLE.
So you don't think they're going to take last week's match and kind of like put it towards the week 1 play-ins and be like, all right, this is how we lost last week. And
If they want to win, they should learn from how their match went last week and then hopefully adapt from it.
Look forward to it. All right. Storm, do you have any other questions or input for Sentinel League?
Just going off the NLE conduit, I think it's going to be an NLE 2-0 personally. Going off how these games have played, the series they just played, NLE seems very comfortable just taking the scaling comp and saying you're not going to hand check us at 15 minutes. And then whether the gold leads at 2K or 3K, they just have more power budget for late game. And I think they're just betting on Conduit not being able to execute too many early game disruptors to stop that from happening.
So what I'm hearing from what you're saying, Storm, in other words, in the name of Sherry, they're gonna skull fuck them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Just wanted to make that clear.
Can't
we
confirm.
gotta keep Cherry's memory alive.
Don't worry, she's gonna get added here shortly.
So, see what happens when you miss a podcast. Okay, so that's what we're looking forward to in Sentinel League. We can move on over to Crusader, which is still run by Storm. So tell us about Crusader and what's happening in there. This should be better because we have our guests are all from Crusader, so this should be fun.
We're a joyful bunch here today. A lot of me and Jayce are both here representing our wonderful top lanes.
Yep. Am I gonna see any
wanna
finals?
say- No. How are we gonna see you in finals? We're in the same side of the bracket. You goose.
Some magical happen.
I mean,
No, the real finals. You know, there's the technical.
I mean,
finals and
our
the
real finals will be semifinals. So
Yeah, and Very Talented is on bare minimum in Crusader. You do have 3 Crusaders.
what?
Yes.
Bare minimum broad roster. Taken to my grave. I get it. But
I put him in finals on my pick'ems. But that's just because all the talk, you know. I respect the talk, to be honest.
hell yeah. Honestly,
Can't
the
talk,
only
you can't walk.
game we had this week was Conduit and Strokers, right?
This week.
Or no, it was Contingent and
Yeah, you had the rematch, which was OMT Zeus versus Contingent Yellow.
yeah. Contingent Yellow. My boy Sodium decided you want to play the game. They dropped the clip, the Quadraveris.
We fight this, I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah, they have nothing left. Should be pretty free.
I'm on Ziggs.
I'm coming.
Quirky's coming. You guys can't go too
Quirky's.
long. You win that if you kite. Kite back.
Ooh, that was a good flash. It don't matter.
Enough.
Yeah.
Gives a little bit more insight, especially their comms. They're hanging in there. If I was Varus, I'm absolutely losing my mind in that play because I'm playing the entire fight at like 300 HP, just scared of getting one hit. So props to him. But that kind of solidified our Sector 2 standings. So now we've got our entire brackets laid out, and me and Jayce are out here just living on bye weeks right now.
Dude, I haven't played in I think 2 or 3 weeks almost. Or I
So
don't
you're
think I
s-
will play for 3 weeks.
So what you're saying is y'all get 3-1 by Expired Bandits, right?
Probably not, but
Yeah, because you guys play next week, actually. Monkeys and Bandits.
Yeah, Expired Bandits will play as well as Galaxy and Conduit. Expired Bandits, the little bit of insight I have, they're gonna probably try to play through most of their mid lane, unless Cage and Monkeys has some very lopsided power skew in their roster that I don't know about, and they have to affect it. Then you have Galaxy Gaming and Conduit. I think if Galaxy gets their drafts under control, I think this is a very winnable series for them. But they need to put their priority players and make sure they have priority. Your best player should not be playing weak side.
we're talking about Nutty Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of got weak sided against me. Unfortunate for him. Well, actually, no,
Yeah.
it was kind of like, we were just in our own space.
It
So
do
you
be
can't
like
let that
that.
happen against me.
Yeah, no. I think if they can fix draft and they keep their mentals under control, I think Galaxy can win. But you're asking for a lot of peaches in one bushel to go be there, and for that, I think I'm just going to give it to Conduit. Conduit's creepily improved throughout this split. And then we'll go into our quarterfinals, which will be Blood Moon versus either Bandits or Cage Monkeys. We will have our first Sector 2 matchup against Summoners After Dark, who Mr. Badger decided to put number 2 on his power rankings.
That battery's calling you out.
I'm just saying, if 2 gets cleared by 5, I expect a redaction. I will be looking. Bare minimum is going into Syndicate Strokers. Very talented. Do you have any opinions on that matchup?
It's Syndicate Strokers versus who?
Bare minimum.
The team for sub on.
I haven't really seen Syndicate Strokers play. No, Bare Minimum has been doing very well recently in scrims. I think it'll be a pretty good set of games.
So, Jayce, going through this, who do you think is the sleeper team for Sentinel or Crusader?
I think it's Galaxy Gaming, actually.
Okay.
I don't think they will win it all, but I think they'll do pretty good.
You think they're gonna knock out?
I think they will knock out Conduit and the Hourglass Shape team that I'm looking at the pick'ems.
Yellow.
Contingent.
Yep. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's spicy.
I don't know about that one.
Because like Contingent Yellow is the top seed in Sector 2 with 10 wins and 4 losses.
I don't know. I feel like I got that feeling from Galaxy Gaming where like they're almost there. Like they almost got the puzzle fit together and they could be a pretty good team.
Also,
I agree with you. My only issue with Galaxy and the Contingent is it seems like just from what I've seen, Contingent's top laner kind of has the same issue that I have, like champ pool wise, to where one, I think one of the better players on that Contingent roster is their jungler. And unless Galaxy can fix the internal issues, I think if they're getting jungle gapped by Sodium, then it's just going to turn into mental warfare.
I played against Sodium before, and I feel like he's not impossible to shut down for sure.
No, he definitely has his moments, but he's been, at least in these series, he's been playing really well. And that seems to be this Galaxy Gaming roster's pain point is the jungle seems to kind of coin flip. Sometimes you get the 11-1 Lee Sin. Sometimes you get the 0-8 Brand. And I think if they can get one game early where that happens, and if it's either game 1 or 2, I think it can be a big issue for the rest of the series. But they got to
but you know, point flip could go in their favor.
That is true. That is true.
Hey, Riven. Glad you could make it. What do you think about Crusader playoffs?
Hello. I have risen. Crusader playoffs. I think. All right. If I were just to run through it really quick with my predictions. I think Expired Bandits versus Cage Monkeys is going to be close. I kind of want to give Expired Bandits the edge. I think they get that in a very close series. Galaxy Gaming versus Conduit Glory. I think Galaxy's going to pull that one out, but I don't know. That one's kind of coin flip to me. With like Galaxy hasn't been like performing the greatest. I don't know, but I think it's going to be. I think that one's going to be like a 3-2 Galaxy, and then Contingent's probably going to smash them in the next round.
Yeah, I'll have to double check, but at the moment I think it's still best of 3s, but I'll have to double check.
Oh, is it still best of 3s?
Okay,
that's my fault.
And see if
it says best of 5 on ours.
No,
At least on the Master Dub.
the play-ins it's best of 3. You're right. The
Yeah.
play-ins is best of 3, and quarters is when it starts best of 5. That's my fault.
Yeah.
So it'll be I still think it'll be like a 2-1. Like I think it's gonna be back and forth. I think Contingent though, probably in the quarterfinals, whoever comes out of that matchup between Galaxy and Conduit, Contingent's probably just gonna smash them. Probably gonna be like a 3-0, 3-1. And then Blood Moon versus whoever comes out of that. Expired Bandits, Cage Monkeys. I think Blood Moon's just gonna smash them as well. I don't think it'll be close. Roar Crusader versus Summoners After Dark. I think Summoners After Dark take that one.
God.
Storm.
I'll expect the Venmo after this slander gets proven wrong.
Okay. And then Bare Minimum versus Syndicate Strokers. I think that one will be a fun one. I think that one will be a banger. I think Bare Minimum squeaks it out.
Okay. Now you had a question for Wooly. Wooly's mic is unmuted, which means he is back and can respond.
I'm here.
You're here.
Wooly, what do you think about the Crusader plans?
I honestly looking at, I've only watched a handful of series in the past couple weeks for Crusader, but I'll say this: I don't think it matters. I think either team that wins is going to get smashed in quarterfinals. And not to stroke any egos here, but I think I don't see anybody beating Clowns.
Okay.
I think they run the board on the top half. What I'm unsure of, though, and I guess I have a question for those of you who play in Crusader, is who do you see as a dark horse team? What's a team that maybe underperformed during the regular season that could hit their stride and maybe make something happen in playoffs?
I think one of our guests has already said the Galaxy Gaming, right? Is what.
Yeah, I'd say Galaxy Gaming. It just felt like a team that almost has it together and almost has like a really good thing going when I played against them.
Yeah, I'd say Galaxy's the team that, like, if all the cogs are in the machine, they're definitely, it's working. I guess the only other like team that's down in the standings would technically be us on RAR. Just because our record doesn't match our strength, just because of all the different roster changes.
Sorry.
Even with our old Blood Moon series we had, like our game 1 was actually pretty even until like 18 minutes. And now we've got a much stronger bot lane that's going to be able to push their advantages. And then on top of that, just a more stable mid lane. So I think that series, if we get to it, will be a lot better than it was the first time. Summers After Dark, Sector 2 teams. I reached out in the chat. Only like one of you replied. If you want more content, please help a brother out. But other than that, I mean, the top end teams in this division they're the top end teams for a reason. They've been playing together for a while, and they know their strengths and they play to them.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was saying. That's what I've seen out of the games that I've watched, is the top teams seem to be very strong.
Like I love you, Storm. I actually believe in all the teams, so I can't do I don't have bias. But if I had to pick someone, I'm sorry to say, Summoners After Dark. Just looking at their standings in their playing, like the head to heads, they don't have a single one loss. It's all 2s across the board. They are also second seed, and I know everybody's rooting for RAR because your roster changed. I think that's gonna throw a wrench in their little wheels, because I don't think they've played against your current roster. So I think that'll make the game super spicy, but I definitely wouldn't count them out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I just looked at RAR's roster and they have a mustard gas. I don't think they're gonna pass that.
Homie got hands. Homie got
That-
hands.
I mean, after you get mustard gas, I would hope.
Riven, what were you trying to? I kind of cut you off a little bit.
No, you're good. I was gonna cut you off. To be fair, no, I'm joking. I think if you're looking at a dark horse, at a team that can kind of go through and maybe even go far, you can't even consider any team that's going to be on Blood Moon's side really, because Blood Moon I think is just going to run away with it. I would say the only team on that side would probably be you guys. Roar, if you guys are managed to beat Summoners, I think you guys have a good shot. But I think it would have to probably be like Galaxy if you're looking at like a pure dark horse perspective. That's what I was gonna just add in, but yeah, nothing we haven't said.
Yeah, we definitely got the death side of the bracket on this one.
It is spicy. It is spicy for sure. All right, do we have anything else for Crusader we'd like to go over?
I personally don't.
All right, hearing nothing, we move on to Warden League, which is run by Taco. Tell us what's going on in Warden League.
Yeah, kick it off to Sherry.
Yep,
Wait,
Terry's not here.
You know,
Moving on.
thank you, Sherry.
Oh, Sherry, where did you come from? Yeah.
So we'll start off with Warden from a quote from Sherry. Give me exact. I gotta find exactly where it was.
It's like I wrote it
Oh,
down somewhere.
her official statement is "We fucking suck."
Oh,
So,
yeah.
good job on the team morale. Let's keep that up. And now we're going in. The only game that we had was Sherry's team.
Yes. Yeah, it was
It
only
was
it was
a
only
strong
a
game.
Lions match.
Yeah. What I've saw, I watched game 1, and then I watched most of game 2. I didn't see game 3. But I
Game
did
3 was
see how it was one-sided. Give me one second. Can someone chime in?
All right,
go to
so
work.
what had happened was Contingent Esports Orange started out the night losing.
No.
Yeah, and we were like, oh no. And we were like, yay, Ego Nog. Then they did come back and we're like, we're not losing our spot in playoffs, and did 2-1 Ego Nog, which thanks Ego Nog for returning from last split. It was nice to see you guys. Hopefully we'll see you next split as well, and you can force your way back into playoffs. So yeah, there was some craziness. Cherry did not start game 1 with the best things. I think she was the first blood.
Oh.
Womp womp.
We hurt you, Cherry. So it was a bit crazy, which does move Orange over to play Akuma Shurikens, the demon weapons. And then Seneca Esports and NLE Legionnaires will also play in the semifinals next week. What do you guys think about that?
Going over their series that has played, I'd say the Ego Nog jungler Zoair had a field day game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to just be on Udyr with a Seraphine Senna behind, or Seraphine and Corki behind you, has to feel pretty good. And then in game 2, Baywa on Lucian decided that he wanted to play the game, I guess. I don't know. 10-2 on Lucian with Anami. And just everyone else decided to play utility Peels, pulling out the Yone top, my hero. And then game 3, Peels, this is per Cherry, reached out directly because honestly, a lot of the score lines on Contingent side were pretty similar, so I didn't really have a standout person. So we offered it to Cherry to pick one. And Peels, the weak side warrior, was her standout. And someone, I think it was Alternative, saving her mental. But I'd say all these games were pretty close, and it was a good series. I think it's a good test for them going into Akuma's in next week. But in that same breath, I feel like dropping this one game I don't think Akuma is a team you can top. If you're gonna try to beat them, I don't think you can drop a game. If Akuma gets momentum, it's kind of scuffed. And then Seneca and Lee on the other side will have been pretty even all split. They're only split their wins by 1. So it should be a pretty even matchup on that side.
Agreed. Anybody else? Jayce, or do you keep up with Warden at all?
No, I don't really.
Okay.
Although I might be playing in it next split.
Oh, well, I look forward to seeing you stepping up into the Diamond League and then being like, yeah, own it. Riven, what about you?
Well, just want to start off. Rip Sherry game 1. But I think I don't know. I feel like Contingent and Akuma are probably gonna have a good series. I probably would take Akuma over Contingent right now, but I don't know. I think it'll be a close one. Seneca versus NLE. I think I probably take NLE in that one. I kind of just favor their play style a little bit more. But yeah, I think that's kind of how it is. I don't really pay attention to Warden too much, but just looking at like games and results and stats, I think that's kind of how I lean right now.
Okay.
Well, for me, I came back from the dead,
Welcome back,
just like
Tackle.
Sherry. After the first week I was on with Sherry, I think Warden is the most entertaining now. And for the playoffs, after it's Shurikens versus Sherry again.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people keep calling me?
Because you're popular.
I'm gonna do it really fast. I think Shuriken's gonna win. NLE is gonna take it all. That's just my quick rundown.
Okay. Very talented. Do you keep any track of Warden at all?
Keep track of it a very small amount.
Mhm.
I would say Akuma would win versus Contingent. Seneca versus NLE would be kind of close. I think NLE will take it, and then Akuma versus NLE. I think the games will go all the way to 5. I'm not sure
Ooh.
who would win between the two. I think it'll be some very close games.
Oh, I love it. A toss up game 5. That is the prediction. You heard it here. I love it. That means Soul's gonna have to have special music ready. All right, Wooly.
Cue the silver scrape, Soul.
That's right.
I'll never forget when Sherry said and so for that reason and that reason alone, I'm gonna pick Contingent over Akuma.
Ooh.
And I do think like this league has, I think, the most parity amongst the teams that are left in playoffs, as far as like there wasn't a ton of teams in this league, but as far as standings go, everybody was the closest. And I think that when you have a smaller group like this, you can end up with the lower seeding teams winning pretty easily. It'll be interesting. So yeah, I'd love to see some Game 5 bangers out of both of these series, to be honest.
I would look forward to it. I know, having watched Warden all split because I have to, deal with streams. It's been there's been some pretty quick blowouts, and then there's been some really drag on games. So, and it's all so high technical levels that it's just fascinating for me to watch, whether it's a blowout or not. So I'm super excited to watch them for sure. Do we have any other things we would like to talk about in Warden?
The only thing that I will say from Warden, the only reason I think NLE will take it all or has the highest chance is because I think the week before play-ins, they played and they just absolutely ran pockets in every role. And if they just keep clicking like that, I don't see a team that would be able to stop them.
That'll be something to watch out for sure. Anything else?
No, that would be it for Warden, I would believe.
Okay, that moves us over to the community questions, which is the last segment of the podcast. If you watch the podcast, you know we take questions from our LXC fans and make you all answer them. So the first one we have, I'm gonna start off with very talented. It's if you were to hire a champion to solve your own murder, who would it be? And this is from Uwu Slayer 96.
Probably say I'd give it to Caitlyn based off of like if anyone has watched Arcane, the amount of like things she went through in order to figure out things. She went all the way to the jail for like Vi and all that stuff. I don't want to like give spoilers or whatever, but in case anyone hasn't watched it, she'll go through a lot of stuff in order to figure out what she wants to figure out. And if she's down to figure out who killed me, I feel like she'll figure it out for me. And she'll also finish the job and get them
She
as
won't
well.
leave it half-hearted.
Yeah.
I watched the series, so I know what you're talking about. Like the scene even popped up in my head. I was like, yes. All right, Wooly, what about you?
If you haven't watched Arcane, watch it.
Right.
Season 2's in production right now. So that's a good call out. I like the Caitlyn. This is an interesting question, though. I think if I'm not taking Arcane into account,
right?
Because that gives a lot of like character development and growth.
Personalities.
Yeah. If I'm just going based off of League character.
Yeah, who would you hire?
Wow. My heart tells me I want to hire Ivern.
Ivern. Why?
For the trees.
I think he's got eyes everywhere.
Grump.
Yeah, he's got relationships with everything on the map and eyes everywhere. Yeah, that's probably why.
So he's like your walking security system. You can just, hey, give me the recording from the day I died. Let's see what happened.
100%.
Man's out here interviewing the blades of grass.
Right. Jayce, what about you?
I think I would definitely go for Camille.
Camille, why?
I mean, she is basically a private investigator herself. Like, she deals with problems. And I think she's one of the better champions to do it. I don't even know if, like, is that a legal thing to hire a police officer to, like, you know, I don't know if I'd hire Caitlyn. I would hire somebody a little bit more underground, like Camille.
Good point.
So you'd lean towards the private detective versus the police officer.
Yeah.
Okay. Riven, what about you?
I would hire LeBlanc because she has her own secret organization and she's an enigma, so she can be anyone and everyone at the same time. So if I'm looking for someone to solve my murder, then I think it'd be like, okay, LeBlanc, just do your thing, find out. I mean, you literally cosplayed as Jarvan and took over Demacia for a while. What can't you do? So there you go. I would get LeBlanc.
Okay. Taco?
I got Captain Timo, my man.
Why?
This man is a murderer himself, so he can think like one. I mean, who would you rather hire? A murderer turn good? Versus a cop who can't think like one. Just Captain Timo, we got this.
Okay, but is it Omega Squad, Timo?
Getting things done.
Now we got to think about it. See,
It's like, oh, conundrum.
no,
Actually, Swift Scout Timo.
Actually, it's Super Timo. He's turned good. Remember?
Huh, okay.
He used to be a little devil Timo, and now he's Super Timo.
You gotta add his morals into the picture. Yeah. All right, Storm, what about you?
I feel like the easy answer is Caitlyn, but I want my murders solved before an entire 2 seasons plus a 3-hour production.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna go Yone.
Yone.
He's in the real world. he can break the spirit world and also interview people in the spirit realm, which means he can probably interview me, and I can just tell him. And then he can
Seems
just
like cheating.
fade unseal somebody through the wall.
Yeah. I mean, he's like a demon hunter, right?
Yeah.
It's like cheating. If
No,
I'm
I like-
cheating
I like
too,
that. I
I
like
would pick
that.
Yorick.
I like that. Oh, just res you as a little minion.
Yeah, exactly.
We're Zillion when you need him.
Exactly. We're
like
breaking
it.
the game now. No, you had to be alive and then get murdered. I think you're already dead. So you can't.
Yeah, it's solving your
Also-
own murder, so you're.
Yeah, so you can't bring you back up.
You have to hire Zillion as your bodyguard, so
Yeah.
he prevents the murder.
And even sometimes he doesn't care about you.
I knew you were going to say that.
Okay, and there you have it, Uwu. Yeah. So our next question is from Resilient. Is would you date someone if they were higher ranked than you in League of Legends, or does it create an imbalance? Wully, we'll start off with you.
Are you kidding me? Carry my ass. Of course I would.
The e-boy support. I got you.
Absolutely.
He's like, hell yeah, I would be. All right, Talented.
Are we getting dating advice? This is kind of funny. I've
I
been
just asked
the low elo person and I've been the high elo person in this situation multiple times. If you're higher ranked than someone than the person you're dating, they're just like, oh, you're just better than me. You're gonna go find some other fucking diamond person and be with them. I'm so trash. But then when you're the lower elo person, they expect you to do everything that they say and just play support and something like that. I like to be with someone who's the similar rank as me,
Mhm.
so we're both equally as bad.
Oh yeah.
And there you have it.
my
Taco, what about you?
Talented. I'd like to point out that League of Legends is
I
not a dating
plead the
service.
fifth. I plead the fifth. My fiance knows I have too many lovers, so I plead the fifth.
Okay, Riven.
I would go with higher rank, so I can be their Pookie. I think that's fine.
Okay, so we're hearing so far the guys all like to be the lower ranked. Got it.
Give me a Dommy, mommy.
Listen,
Jace, what
man.
about you?
Listen.
I mean, I would play, tanks for somebody, to be honest. Like, I'll play Gasante. I already play him anyway. I'll play Ornn. Fuck it.
Okay.
I'll be the weak side warrior.
Storm.
I think I'd rather my partner not play League. There can only be one degen in a relationship.
I agree
Also
with
true.
Storm.
Also
Man,
true.
spitting facts.
Also
Jesus.
true.
Okay, so for the majority out there, Resilient, the guys say that they're okay with being the lower ranked or the only ranker in the family, and the girls say even it up.
All
Not
I gotta
gonna
say
balance.
is, sorry, all the guys are simps except me and Storm. I'll pound it with Storm.
True.
I mean, my girlfriend doesn't even play League, so I'm
My
sure
fiance
it's-
does.
See, I told you, one degen in the relationship.
Exactly.
The only way it works.
I mean, so Soul plays. I don't play. I have an account. I tried to
See?
play. I suck at the game, so I stopped playing. And but I found other ways to support him outside of.
Yeah, me
I really
sending
think he's
feet
taking
pics.
advantage of that.
Yeah, and it's me sending him feet pics every time we play over.
Yeah.
Somehow.
You can check the DMs.
Right. No, I know. I know.
DMs.
He lets me know. Hey, I'm getting feet pics from Taco this week. Okay, cool, baby.
Yeah,
You enjoy those. I'm gonna go over here.
and he gets free LP. All I gotta say.
Mhm. All right. So our next question is from Doki. It's have you ever been in a league playoff before? If so, when and where? And we'll start at the top this time and go on down. So Storm.
This will be my first real playoffs. Again, I just started playing this year,
Mhm.
and we played in MSL, and then this was our second league. And in MSL, we were in Gauntlet, and it didn't play out very well, but it is what it is. But LXC, we're here. But that's really about it for me.
Jayce.
Oh, what was the question?
Have you ever been in playoffs before of any other league? If
I've never
so,
played.
where?
I've never played any league before. This is my very first league. Actually,
Welcome to the LXC. Taco.
As a player, no, I got
Mm-hmm.
banned before I could make it to the playoffs.
Wah.
That was so stupid. Apparently, I can't play J4 or Sejuani in comp, guys. I'm a Smurf.
Oh yeah, I remember last week. We
Yeah.
talked about this. Yeah.
hmm Me and Piglet played together. We were like mid-seeding. We were about to hit playoffs. I just popped off one week. I had a perfect game on J4 and then 100% KP on Sejuani. And then I got banned because I was smurfing, which was weird. But as a coach, I got to finals 2 times.
In what leagues?
Metashift was 4 years ago. MG Blaze was the team. We lost in finals. And then Bull BBG. I forgot the name.
Brad Bolster
That-
Gaming.
Yeah, but I forgot the team's name. They made it to finals and then they
Brad
lost.
Bolster Gaming.
Oh,
That's the team name.
yeah, there you go. Creative. And then they lost in finals too.
Okay. Riven.
Man, I've been playing comp for 5 years now. I've been in the playoffs almost every split I've played in. So this is a little tough, but I guess I do have one chip, and that was, I believe, in 2021, and that was this is when BOL had a gold major and a gold minor thing going, where like they had so many gold teams signed up. This was like peak COVID time, but it was like they had so many gold teams sign up to where they had to like do 2 separate gold leagues. And they called them BOL Gold Major and BOL Gold Minor. And then we got to playoffs, and then they had this cool playoff setup where there was like there was a wild card game where the top seeded BOL minor team could play against the lowest seeded BOL major team, and if they beat the major team, they would go into the major playoffs for a bigger prize pool. So we ended up being the lowest seed, we ended up being in that wild card game, and then we ended up losing from major, and then we ended up absolutely dog walking the minor league and winning in the minor league. So that was a fun memory because everyone was really like, for some reason, everyone in their minds like instinctively like, oh, they're the BOL Gold Major team, so they're better than us. And then everyone in the minors kind of had like a chip, and then they were talking trash all throughout playoffs, and they got really pissy that a quote unquote a BOL major team came down and won the minor playoffs, and that was really funny. So yeah, that's my story of winning a championship.
All right. What about you, Talented?
I am new to amateur leagues, but I played in Rainbow Six amateur leagues and have won
Cool.
multiple finals and stuff previously.
Heck yeah.
Sweet.
I don't
And
feel
you,
safe anymore.
WulleyBully?
It's been a lot of influx of FPS players into League this
Mhm.
year. It seems like competitive. It's interesting. Runeterra Academy, their final split in existence. My first competitive split was in playoffs, and this was actually only the second split I've actually played in the league, and would have made playoffs if I stayed on the team. Although, team ended up forfeiting first round of playoffs, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, done a lot of tournaments, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But as far as full leagues, yeah, Runeterra Academy.
Cool beans. And there you have it, Doki.
Come on.
People's stories. And the last question, and I'm going to actually quote it word for word because it made me giggle.
Oh no.
Is from Xerix. And he says, as it's almost guaranteed, what is the prediction for winners in the Sentinel finals of Angie versus Rar? Storm?
Best of 5. I'm going RAR 3-1. Gotta represent for the boys.
All right. Talented, because you're angry.
Angie trio. I'm sorry.
All I'm gonna say is how the Sentinel is shaping up. They have to get through Blessed first, Roar. So
According to Xerix, this
I
is
mean-
a guarantee. This is a
I mean, they
guarantee.
just walked Brown Lives Matter this week, so
Yeah, like you got to go for the people
Okay.
that beat Brown Lives Matter, though.
Yeah. We're basing
Yeah,
this
I see.
information off of what the question, because this is not actually obviously based on stats and who ends up where.
If RAR ends up in the finals, Angie walks him 3-0. That is my statement.
What do you think, Jayce?
I think that if RAR can beat Brown Lives Matter, then they're probably gonna win. Like
Taco.
in this theoretical.
In this theory, it's true. It's true. Taco.
I don't know enough about these teams. They don't. The only person I know is Outrage, and we know about Outrage. So I guess shut down Outrage. It's gonna be competitive. Hopefully, RAR goes 3-2, or was it? Yeah, 3-2, RAR, because underdogs.
Wooly.
So I meant to bring this up when we were talking about Sentinel and didn't. I think Outrage is undoubtedly the MVP out of this league. However, it boggles my mind looking back at stats how many times teams have allowed Sadness to play a Mumu.
Oh, I know, right?
Like, what the fuck are you people doing in draft?
I mean, you think they would have caught on week 1, first freaking match set. He gets the first pentakill of the league. This split on a Mumu named Sadness.
Yeah. Yeah, stop giving that man a Mumu, and if you do that in finals, you have a chance. But I still don't think anybody beats Angie.
Okay, so there you have it, Xerix. We're a little split. So we look forward to this theoretical and see if it happens or not. We'll know seeding and whether it's possible after next week's games. That, everybody, is it. If you have any other shout outs you would like to make or anything right before we close out, now's the time to call out your friends and fellow teammates.
shout out Shaco, doing double work on like 5 different rosters right now. I conned him into one because he conned me into the other, but they're doing great things.
Jayce, do you have anybody?
Definitely resilient. He's captain of our team along with Nighthawk, and he does all of our drafting, and he's kind of GOAT. Plat 4 GOAT.
Riven.
I would also shout out Resilient. Yep.
Our certified Crusade Yapper.
Yep. Talented.
I just have to give it to Angie, and my top laner does not really get recognition, so I'm gonna give it to him. Because it's all Sadness and Outrage, I'm gonna give it to my top laner, Ultimice.
There you go, Ultimice. You have been called out. Congrats.
I would have laughed if you just said I don't know his name. I'm gonna be real.
I was waiting to see
Weak side warrior.
if I needed to call it. I pulled up the rosters and everything just in case. Taco, I know you don't play, but do you have anybody out of any of the leagues you'd like to give a shout out for good jobs this week?
Yeah, I will give it out to Shaporta.
Supporta, okay. And Wooly?
I kind of want to be a dick here, but I'm not gonna. So I'll just shout out my guy Frost over on TD Harmony. They haven't played yet, but he's one of those FPS players that came over to League this year, and he's been on the grind learning mid lane and is pretty decent mid laner.
No, yeah, Frost is great. Me and him, we have a little rivalry in houses. Even though I always end up winning, he's really fun to play against.
Yeah, it's got a good attitude on him.
Yep. And he's always in my DMs asking me questions about mid, so I really respect him.
All right. Well, that is it for the Top Hat Lounge. Thank you all for coming and hosting this with me and having a fun chat and some laughs. Thank you to the viewers for watching us so that we have to continue doing this every week. We heart you. And a huge thank you to Bingus, who has stepped up to be our podcast editor so that we can get this done weekly for you guys and I don't get overworked. That's
Go
it.
Bingus.
Yeah, Bingus. Woo!
Booga booga.
Yeah. Seriously appreciate the assistance. So, yep. Again, that's it for the podcast lounge. We'll see
God
you
help
next week.
me.
We'll see you
Can we
next
take the
week.
cuffs off now?
You can, yes.
They're beating me again.
Welcome to the LXC.
You said not after this week.